Sartre, Existential Freedom and Bad Faith. Imagine waking up one morning to find there is no guidebook, no grand plan, no fixed path for your life, only blank pages. You are free to choose everything, and with that freedom comes the burden of responsibility. That radical freedom, and the fear, guilt, and anguish it brings, is at the heart of Jean-Paul Sartre's existential philosophy. For Sartre, freedom is not a privilege, but an inescapable condition. And yet, many of us live in bad faith, denying our freedom, hiding behind excuses, roles, or rules to escape the terror of choice. In this video, we will explore Sartre's vision, what it means to be condemned to freedom, how bad faith corrupts authenticity, and how genuine living demands embracing responsibility, even in a world without given meaning. Historical context in Sartre's philosophy. To understand Sartre, we need a bit of context. After World War II, Europe was reeling. Ideologies had collapsed, certainty was shaken, and the search for meaning became urgent. Jean-Paul Sartre emerged as one of existentialism's central figures, responding to the modern crisis of belief and identity. Drawing on phenomenology, the study of consciousness and lived experience developed by Edmund Husserl and Martin Heidegger, Sartre focused on human subjectivity, freedom, and moral responsibility. He insisted that existence precedes essence, meaning humans are not born with a fixed nature or divine purpose. Instead, we are condemned to be free, forced to create our essence through the choices we make. Against both religious doctrines and scientific determinism, Sartre's philosophy places absolute freedom at the heart of existence, a freedom that empowers, terrifies, and defines what it means to be human. Existence precedes essence. One of Sartre's foundational ideas is that existence precedes essence. Unlike a tool, say a knife, which is made according to a design with a predetermined purpose, human beings first exist and only later define themselves through their actions. There is no blueprint of human nature written anywhere in the universe. There is no divine plan, no genetic script, no preordained moral map. We are thrown into existence without instruction, and it is only through our choices that we sculpt who we become. This idea strikes at the roots of moral certainty and traditional faith. It means that humans must invent their values rather than inherit them. Freedom is both our curse and our gift. There are no excuses, no fate, no predestined path, only the raw, terrifying responsibility of shaping ourselves through what we do. Radical freedom and responsibility. For Sartre, human freedom is not partial or conditional. It is total and constant. Every moment of life, even when we appear constrained, we are making choices. Even choosing not to act is itself an act of choice. This radical freedom carries an immense weight of responsibility. You cannot blame your upbringing, your trauma, or your circumstances for the person you become, because each instant presents an opportunity to choose differently. Sartre describes the realization of this freedom as anguish, the dizzying awareness that you are entirely responsible for everything you do, and by extension, for the image of humanity you project through your choices. When you act, you are not only defining yourself, but also proposing what a human being should be. That realization produces abandonment, the feeling that, in a world without God or cosmic purpose, we are utterly on our own. Yet it is precisely within that isolation that genuine freedom, and therefore authenticity, can arise. Bad faith. One of Sartre's most influential ideas is bad faith, a kind of self-deception in which we deny our own freedom to escape the anxiety of responsibility. To live in bad faith is to pretend that we are objects, fixed, determined, bound by circumstance, rather than conscious beings who can choose. The person who says, "I can't change, it's just who I am," is already lying to themselves. A waiter who overacts his role, behaving as though his entire being is defined by his job, hides from the truth that he could walk away at any time. A person who stays in an unhappy relationship, insisting they have no choice, is doing the same. Bad faith is subtle and seductive because it uses freedom to deny freedom. We freely choose to act as though we are not free. Sartre believed that bad faith corrodes relationships and moral integrity alike, because when we deny our freedom, we also deny the freedom of others, treating people as objects rather than as conscious agents. To live authentically, therefore, requires constant vigilance against this self-deception and the courage to face the anxiety that comes with genuine choice, authenticity, and being for itself. In opposition to bad faith, Sartre calls us toward authenticity, courage to face our freedom, accept responsibility, and act genuinely from one's inner self. Authenticity means living without false excuses, owning one's choices, and creating meaning through conscious action. Sartre distinguishes between being in itself, things, objects, fixed essences, and being for itself, consciousness, human beings in process. To live authentically is to embrace our being for itself, an open project of becoming, rather than a static identity. It means rejecting the temptation to define yourself as a finished thing. Authentic living is hard. It requires courage, self-awareness, and vulnerability. It demands that we confront uncertainty, accept mistakes, and transform regret into growth. But only through this struggle can one live freely, not as an object trapped by roles, but as a conscious creator of one's own meaning. Existential ethics and projects. Because existentialism rejects fixed, pre-given moral codes, ethics for Sartre becomes a matter of projects, the freely chosen pursuits that give shape and purpose to one's life. You create values through the commitments you make and the principles you live by. Freedom is your canvas. Your projects are your brushstrokes. Yet, since no divine or universal script defines what's right, every project carries moral weight. Sartre insists that ethical choice must be made responsibly, with awareness that your freedom affects and reflects humanity as a whole. Authentic ethics, then, is grounded in respect for others' freedom, never using them as mere means, but acknowledging them as conscious agents like yourself. True morality arises not from obedience to rules, but from responsible action that seeks harmony between personal purpose and the shared condition of human freedom. Criticisms and challenges. Sartre's philosophy has been criticized. Some say it exaggerates freedom and neglects constraints, social, psychological, economic, that limit choice. Others argue that radical choice can become capricious. How do you meaningfully choose without some moral grounding? Marxists have criticized existentialism's individualism, arguing it underestimates collective structures and social injustice. Others point out that constant choice can lead to paralysis or despair. Yet Sartre responded that recognizing constraints doesn't abolish freedom, it frames it. Authentic life is possible even within limits. Relevance in today's world. In our age of identity crises, social media personas, and engineered lives, Sartre's message resonates deeply. We often live for others' expectations, hide behind roles, or outsource our authenticity to external validation. We must ask, are we acting freely or in bad faith? Are we owning our choices or hiding behind excuses? Are we living our projects or living by default? Sartre invites us to reclaim our lives, to refuse passivity, to create meaning, to act responsibly in a world without guarantees. So here's the question. If you were given a blank page every morning, no rules, no guarantees, what would you write? Would you live in fear, avoiding questions and hiding in roles? Or would you embrace your freedom, choose boldly, and commit to authenticity? Radical freedom is not a burden to escape. It's a gift, a chance to shape your life with meaning and integrity. But with that gift comes responsibility for yourself, for others, and for the world you help create. If this dive into Sartre's ideas struck a chord, share your thoughts in the comments. How do you confront your freedom each day? And to continue exploring philosophy's deepest challenges, like, share, and subscribe. Join the journey of meaning, choice, and authentic existence.